While Naruto ultimately didn't kill Sasuke, their final battle at the Valley of the End represented Naruto's willingness to do whatever was necessary to save his friend, even if it meant destroying him to stop his destructive path. Naruto had spent years trying to bring Sasuke back to the village, but Sasuke's plan to kill the 5 Kage and rule as an immortal dictator forced Naruto to confront the possibility that his best friend was beyond redemption. During their final fight, Naruto fought with the full intention of stopping Sasuke permanently if necessary. He was prepared to kill his closest bond to prevent Sasuke from implementing his vision of revolutionary peace through oppression. The emotional weight of this battle came from Naruto's realization that saving Sasuke might require destroying him. He was willing to bear the pain of killing his best friend rather than let Sasuke become a tyrant who would cause countless deaths. Naruto's victory came not from overpowering Sasuke, but from proving that their friendship was stronger than Sasuke's hatred. He saved his friend by being willing to sacrifice their bond, which ultimately made Sasuke realize what he was about to lose. While Gon never killed Killua, his transformation during the Chimera Ant arc and his willingness to sacrifice everything for revenge showed how even the closest friendships can be destroyed when one person becomes consumed by darkness. Gon's obsession with avenging Kite led him to push away Killua and everyone else who tried to help him. His transformation into an adult form powered by rage represented his willingness to destroy himself and his relationships for the sake of revenge. When Killua tried to stop Gon from throwing his life away, Gon's response was to essentially end their friendship. He told Killua that their bond meant nothing compared to his need for vengeance, effectively killing their relationship if not Killua himself. Killua's heartbreak at watching his best friend become someone unrecognizable was one of the series' most devastating moments. Gon had become so consumed by hatred that he was willing to destroy the person who cared about him most. The aftermath of Gon's transformation left their friendship fundamentally changed. While they eventually reconciled, Gon's willingness to sacrifice everything, including Killua, for revenge showed how even heroes can become monsters when they lose perspective. Shinji's killing of Kaworu represents one of anime's most heartbreaking betrayals, as he was forced to destroy the first person who had shown him unconditional love and acceptance. Kaworu was revealed to be the final angel, but unlike the others, he approached Shinji with genuine affection and understanding. For the first time, Shinji felt truly accepted and loved, without conditions or expectations. When Kaworu reached terminal dogma and discovered that the being there was Lilith rather than Adam, he realized that his existence threatened humanity's survival. He asked Shinji to kill him, knowing that their friendship made Shinji the only one who could do it. Shinji's agonizing hesitation before crushing Kaworu in Unit 1's hand showed the depth of his internal conflict. He was being asked to kill the person who had given him the greatest happiness he had ever experienced. Kaworu's final words of gratitude and love made his death even more tragic. He thanked Shinji for the experience of being loved, even as Shinji was forced to end his life to protect humanity. While this scenario is still developing in the manga, Yuji's potential confrontation with Sukuna-possessed Megumi represents the ultimate test of his resolve and friendship, as he may be forced to kill his closest friend to stop the King of Curses. Megumi's possession by Sukuna placed Yuji in an impossible situation. His best friend's body had become the vessel for the very curse that Yuji had been fighting against. Saving the world might require destroying the person he cared about most. Yuji's knowledge that he was partially responsible for Sukuna's revival and subsequent possession of Megumi added guilt to his anguish. His own existence as Sukuna's vessel had led directly to his friend's corruption. The possibility that Yuji might have to kill Megumi represents the ultimate consequence of his decision to become Sukuna's vessel. The power he had gained to protect others might ultimately require him to destroy the person he most wanted to protect. Yuji's character development throughout the series has prepared him for this moment. His growing understanding that sometimes heroes must make impossible choices to prevent greater suffering. While Tanjiro never killed Nezuko, his initial mission as a demon slayer, and the constant threat that he might have to execute his sister if she ever ate a human, created ongoing tension between his duty and his love. When Tanjiro first encountered Nezuko as a demon, he was prepared to die rather than kill her, but as he became a demon slayer, he understood that if Nezuko ever lost control and harmed innocent people, he would have to stop her permanently. During Nezuko's battle with Daki, when she began to lose her humanity and attack humans, Tanjiro was forced to consider the possibility that he might have to kill his own sister to protect others. Tanjiro's lullaby, that calmed Nezuko during her berserker state, represented his choice to save her rather than destroy her, but it also showed his readiness to do whatever was necessary if she couldn't be brought back. The series explored the psychological weight of Tanjiro's position loving someone who had become a monster and being the only one with both the skill and emotional connection necessary to stop her. While Ichigo fought to save Rukia rather than kill her, his battle against the Soul Society, and later against Rukia herself, when she was controlled by external forces, showed his willingness to fight his closest friend when necessary. During the Soul Society arc, Ichigo was prepared to fight through anyone, including Rukia herself, to prevent her execution. His determination to save her sometimes put him in direct conflict with her own wishes and sense of duty. When Rukia was influenced by the Zanpakuto rebellion or other external forces, Ichigo had to battle against her directly, knowing that holding back might mean failing to save her or allowing others to be harmed. Ichigo's philosophy was that he would rather bear the burden of hurting his friends than allow them to sacrifice themselves unnecessarily. This sometimes meant fighting against their wishes or their corrupted forms. The emotional core of these conflicts was Ichigo's refusal to accept that anyone he cared about was beyond saving, even if it meant he had to hurt them in the process of rescuing them. While the Elric brothers never truly fought to kill each other, their confrontation when Alphonse was controlled by pride and Kimberly forced Edward to consider attacking his own brother to save him and stop the homunculus. When pride took control of Alphonse's armor, Edward was faced with the possibility that saving his brother might require destroying the very body he had spent years trying to restore. Edward's willingness to sacrifice his own life rather than harm Alphonse showed the depth of their bond, but it also demonstrated the impossible choices that heroes sometimes face when those they love are used against them. The psychological torture of fighting his brother's body while knowing Alphonse was trapped inside was one of Edward's greatest tests. He had to find a way to save Alphonse without destroying the physical form that housed his soul. Edward's solution, using himself as a philosopher's stone to restore Alphonse, represented his ultimate choice to sacrifice himself rather than harm his brother, even to save the world. Akira's final battle against Ryo, who was revealed to be Satan, represents the ultimate betrayal and the destruction of the most important relationship in Akira's life. Ryo had been Akira's closest friend since childhood, the person who had convinced him to merge with a demon to fight against the demon invasion. But Ryo's true identity as Satan meant that their entire friendship had been part of a cosmic deception. When Ryo revealed his plan to eliminate humanity and rule over a world of demons, Akira was forced to confront the fact that his best friend was the ultimate enemy he had been fighting against all along. Their final battle was both a cosmic conflict between good and evil and a personal tragedy between two friends who had loved each other but were destined to be enemies. Akira's death in the final battle represented not just his failure to save humanity, but the complete destruction of the relationship that had defined his entire existence. While Senku didn't technically kill Tsukasa, their ideological conflict and Tsukasa's eventual death and later revival showed how even friendship couldn't bridge fundamental differences about humanity's future. Senku and Tsukasa had mutual respect for each other's abilities and good intentions, but their visions for the post-stone world were completely incompatible. Tsukasa wanted to create a pure world without the corruption of modern civilization, while Senku wanted to rebuild scientific progress. Their conflict escalated from intellectual disagreement to actual warfare, with both sides recognizing that only one vision could survive. Despite their personal friendship, they were willing to destroy each other for their ideals. Tsukasa's apparent death during their conflict represented the triumph of scientific progress over natural purity, but also the personal cost of ideological warfare between friends. Senku's decision to eventually revive Tsukasa showed that he valued their friendship despite their fundamental disagreements, but only after Tsukasa's vision had been definitively defeated. While Yusuke and Kuabara were more rivals than best friends initially, their bond deepened throughout the series, making moments when they had to fight each other particularly painful. During the Dark Tournament and other conflicts, circumstances sometimes forced Yusuke and Kuabara into opposition, with both knowing that holding back could mean death for themselves or others. Their fights were complicated by their genuine care for each other and their knowledge of each other's fighting styles and weaknesses. They had to overcome their emotional bonds to fight effectively. Yusuke's growth as a character was often measured by his willingness to hurt his friends when necessary to save them or prevent greater harm, even when it went against his protective instincts. The series explored how true friendship sometimes requires being willing to fight against those you care about, whether to help them grow stronger or to stop them from making destructive choices. While Inuyasha and Kikyo's relationship was more romantic than friendship, their tragic dynamic involved Inuyasha being forced to fight against and ultimately kill the reanimated form of the woman he had loved. Kikyo's resurrection as a vengeful undead priestess created a situation where Inuyasha had to choose between his past love and his present responsibilities to Kagome and his other companions. When Kikyo's hatred and desire for revenge threatened innocent people, Inuyasha was forced to oppose her directly, even though he still loved her and understood the pain that drove her actions. Their confrontations were emotionally devastating because both characters were victims of Naraku's manipulation, but Kikyo's undead state made reconciliation impossible without her final destruction. Inuyasha's final parting with Kikyo represented his choice to let go of the past and the person he had been, allowing both of them to find peace through separation. While Guts hasn't yet killed Griffith, their relationship represents the ultimate corruption of friendship and the ongoing struggle between someone seeking revenge and their former closest companion. Guts and Griffith's friendship was the most important relationship in both their lives, built on mutual respect, shared dreams, and genuine affection. Griffith's betrayal during the eclipse destroyed not just their bond but Guts' entire worldview. Guts' quest for revenge against Griffith is complicated by the fact that he still remembers and mourns the person Griffith used to be. His hatred is mixed with grief for the friend he lost. The possibility that Guts might eventually have to kill Griffith represents not just revenge but mercy, destroying the monster that Griffith has become to honor the memory of who he once was. Their eventual confrontation will likely require Guts to choose between his desire for revenge and his understanding that killing Griffith might be the only way to free both of them from their shared past.